We are in Miami. It is our Lion's Den of MMA, and another incredible card here as we get ready for the very busy summer. We'll be dark for a couple weeks. We'll be back bigger than ever. The rankings will be coming out soon, and we'll have some big title fights as well. And new stars will be unearthed. And maybe tonight's the night. It always seems to be when they step inside the jaula, amazing things happen, and we get our preliminary cards off and running as we see all the ports of call of Combate Global. Thrilled to have Felicia Spencer along for the call. We'll get into calling the fights here shortly. We talked to our main event combatants, talked a little about our co-main event and the three main card fights. Preliminary, sometimes it's where it's at. That's what's coming up later this evening. It will be spearheaded with Marcus Edwards and Leo Rodriguez, Jennifer Trioreau, Gillian Noll, Alfredo Chato Lopez, Martin Justiz. Have to wait for that one a little bit. But we got you covered. As we saw in our last preliminary matchups a week ago, we had the fastest knockout in Combate history. So don't blink. Don't take too long going to the refrigerator to get a refreshment. We'll be off and running. And it all starts here with Victor Valenzuela, the Chilean Psicosis, taking on Fernando El Bicho Calvo from Madrid, Spain. Both with excellent records, both looking to keep it that way. Let's get the festivities started. Lupe Contreras.
Entrando a la jaula, Victor Valenzuela. Fernando Calvo.
Fernando Calvo with the Spanish flag. We mentioned Tino Guilarans. That's his training partner at Tocodo in Spain. This guy, I watched some of his video, Felicia. Really impressive stand-up guy. He wants to keep it up in that area.
Calls himself a striker. It's going to be fireworks from Calvo here. He's been training for 9 years in MMA, following the footsteps of his brother. It's lots of fighting, I'm sure, at home, getting him prepared for this.
And he's got to protect the 4-fight win streak. So a lot at stake. We know Spain has got the talent. We're seeing it start to bubble to the surface. Maybe Calvo is that guy. This will be, as we talked about, a welterweight card. We have the welterweight main event. We'll have the welterweight fight to start us off here on Combate Global as we take a look at the head-to-head. Both still relatively young in their careers. Calvo with a huge height advantage, just the 1 inch via the reach. Both guys making weight at the 171-pound limit. We are ready for the hostilities inside La Jaula. And that means one thing. Back to Lupe Contreras.
Este duelo, 3 vueltas, división peso welter. This bout, 3 rounds in the welterweight division. Los jueces son, the judges are James Lázaro, Eliseo Rodríguez y Dorian Mirasola. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, llegó el momento de un combate global. En la esquina azul, vestido de rojo, in the blue corner, wearing red, su peso oficial, 170 libras y 3/4 his official weight, 170 3/4 pounds. En su 10º combate, con 6 victorias y 3 derrotas, he enters la jaula for the 10th time as a professional, with 6 victories against 3 losses. De Santiago, Chile, Victor Psycho Valenzuela. En la esquina roja, vestido de amarillo, en the red corner, wearing yellow, su peso oficial, 169 libras y 3 cuartos, his official weight, 169 and 3/4 pounds. En 6 combates, mantiene un récord de 5 victorias con solo una derrota. En 6 pro bouts, he maintains a record of 5 victories against 1 lone defeat. Representing Madrid, España, Fernando, el bicho Calvo. El referee, Tommy Santana.
Tommy Santana, the third inside La Jaula.
Saludos, caballero, bienvenido a su combate global. Hemos
Always
repasado
very
las reglas en el
polite.
camerino, espero una pelea dura pero limpia. ¿Alguna pregunta? ¿Que gane el mejor? Choque cuando se desea.
Victor Valenzuela, nicknamed Psicosis. Fernando Calvo, El Bicho, the Bug. We are underway, and they talked about Felicia keeping this on the feet. At least Calvo did. Now he's got to try and execute that. Valenzuela probably looking to take that to the ground because even though he's a K1 kickboxer, maybe there's an edge there. We shall see.
Yeah, easier said than done sometimes. Valenzuela is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so he might be also very comfortable on the ground.
You just look for some edges that you might have, and southpaw, even though Calvo will switch a couple times, prowling there in the center of the jaula. Checking out that jab.
I keep thinking, I wonder where the nickname comes from, the Bug.
Sometimes it's pretty innocuous. A lot of times, I think in the case of Calvo, he says, I got it, and it stuck. Got it at an early age. And how did you get your nickname?
Well,
Was it Phenom?
Yep, Phenom. Just my nickname in the gym was Fee. So my one fight, someone said I did a phenomenal job, and then it stuck.
You never know where you're going to get it. Sometimes it arrives. Valenzuela showing his kickpocking prowess. Calvo waves him off. A little time here trying to find
Yeah, feeling out.
Yep.
Feeling out a lot.
getting the range down. Calvo maybe struggling a little bit more. Valenzuela starting to take the center of the jaula.
Yeah, it's always interesting when the fighter with the shorter reach gets the center control. Usually it's the opposite, you know. So really good cage awareness.
Calvo feeling a little better as he did get that kick into the ribs, trying to switch back and forth.
He's got great body control, pulling up against the fence. We'll see if he can keep it there.
To a clinch, and Valenzuela.
Great reversal. Try to throw that elbow. That's vicious.
Yeah, Valenzuela looks ready. These two guys coming from two different worlds, and we talked about training in the United States. Neither of these guys have had much experience. That it helps. We've seen it. It's tried and tested. If you can get into a good gym and you can get some of these MMA masters across the board, it helps. But right now they got to lean into where they're from in Spain or Chile. That said, both look like they've been pretty well prepared for this one.
They're composed, you know, they're taking their time, they're not rushing into anything. That's always nice to see with professional athletes, being just aware of their body. They are, you know, they're starting to go for things here. They're starting to throw the strikes, trying to be first. That's a big theme, you know, for a lot of fighters is they just want to be first to throw the leg kick. They want to be first to throw the big overhand, you know. Being first is drilled into their head sometimes.
There are some counter punchers out there who made a great living as Valenzuela came up. Single leg here for Calvo. We talked about the striking, but he tempted to go to the ground there.
We'll see how the power compares here, if you know, who can hold who against the fence or break away.
Yeah, we think Calvo would have the edge, but Valenzuela looks mighty strong, and he has been able to handle the clinch on a couple occasions already. Changing stances a lot. The reason to change the stance, I mean, obviously it's to keep your opponent at bay. Is it a tactic that seems to work more often than not?
Yeah, there's different reasons to do it. One thing, maybe he's just better at throwing certain strikes with left foot forward versus right foot forward. Or yeah, it's a strategy, to keep your opponent guessing which way you're going. It kind of changes their defense, and if you can get one step ahead and mix them up with how your stance goes, then you're just one step ahead of the game.
And I think it's worked for Calvo as he's starting to find his range. It's been a pretty hard-hitting first round, a slow start, which is usually the case. You can see Tino Gillian in the white shirt in the background for El Bicho Calvo, who is 5-1. Most of his fights do not go the distance. 3 TKOs, 1 submission. His last fight was where he got his victory via the guillotine in December of last year. 4 straight wins for him. This is the biggest fight of his career. Oh, good combination, Valenzuela.
He extended that kick and then just landed forward to close up the space really well, and then landed the big punch like that. It's awesome.
Under 30 seconds to go in this opening round. Valenzuela in red, repping Chile. Oh, big, that knee almost catching the chin. First takedown going for El Bicho Calvo.
Great reaction by Calvo there. He ate a big knee to the head there.
Valenzuela looking pretty proud. Tried that triangle, maybe an arm bar, but in all likelihood, he's going to run out of time as he drops some elbows on Calvo. He doesn't like that at all.
The damage is still done. The damage will remain.
I don't think that went Calvo's way. Calvo now, we talk about taking that big step up in a big North American-based promotion, even though Combate Global is a promotion for the world. I think he started to feel it out and say, okay, this is different. This feels a little different. I gotta adjust the game plan accordingly.
Yeah, he ate a couple big shots there. Like I said, he reacted really well at the end with the last one. He ate the knee to the face and was able to just grab the legs and get the takedown. Just a way to stay safe for the remainder, just ride out the clock to recoup. Yeah, great showing there by Valenzuela.
I think he's got to be pretty happy with what happened in that first round. We'll find out. Official scoring coming up. Getting ready for round number 2. Interesting, Felicia, we saw Calvo, he took those elbows right at the first round. When the bell went, he went to the other round as if to not show his face if there was some discomfort. I would have to imagine there were. Didn't want to show Valenzuela any, though.
Yeah, you never want to show your opponent that you're hurt, that you felt anything. Just brush it off and keep walking.
Keep walking. Print the shirts. Valenzuela continues to be first. Calvo, when he's Valenzuela counterattacking, seems to make contact on those attempts from Calvo. Seems he likes to get that jab going. Hasn't really worked for Calvo thus yet. He's trying, though.
What fails, try again, right?
Plug it away.
That jab can be handy, though. Even if he's not landing the jab, he might just be setting something up that's bigger and better. So you can't underestimate the jab that doesn't land.
Valenzuela, 6-3, 2 TKOs, 1 submission in his career. Last fought July of last year. It was a disqualification loss and a illegal head kick. Certainly nothing he wants to repeat. Prior to that, March of 2020, where he was victorious. Big smile from Calvo, maybe getting to his comfort zone a little bit. Maybe not.
Yeah, he felt that big leg kick, and then, it is funny, you don't want to show your opponent that you're hurt, but then you're so willing to smile when you eat a big shot like that. It's just natural reaction, I guess.
There's the official scoring. That is what it is. That is the scoring from all 3 judges, all 3 of them giving that first round to Valenzuela. Valenzuela, who is 6-3, started 5-0. There's a good jab from Calvo. Wants more of that. Valenzuela, the shorter fighter, although he seems like he's finding the range when they meet in the middle.
Yeah, he seems content to keep the fight on the feet, even though he's got the credentials, to be comfortable on the ground.
Good.
It almost seems like Calvo is looking for a shot. He keeps kind of lowering his level, sort of faking it.
Valenzuela in a great shape. Not sure if his corner, we don't know if the corner told him the scores, but if he has a good second round, the ball is in his court. More punches, and now that big mouse under the left eye of Calvo. Great game plan here from Valenzuela, working perfectly. Calvo, the favorite coming in. Doesn't look like it after a round and a half.
I wonder what the live betting would do in the event here.
We know the folks.
It's fun to see.
Put a little wager here. Kick, and then a big overhand right there by Valenzuela. What'd you like to see from Calvo? Things aren't really working.
Yeah, you know, I was just thinking he's still switching his feet a lot. I wonder if he's going to mix himself up instead of mixing up his opponent.
Oh!
Or not being able to defend correctly, thinking about which way he's circling.
Valenzuela with a takedown after that massive roundhouse kick.
He almost seems unfazed by it, but
maybe one too many switches from Calvo is what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, he starts to circle one way or other way, maybe circle the wrong way by accident because you're just, you know, in a different zone.
Takes the back. Valenzuela, just one submission victory in his career.
Calvo's going to want to try to shake him off the front. You know, Valenzuela is sliding off just like that. So keep your butt high, and your opponent can fall off just like that. Not out of danger yet. Big heel hook.
Big heel.
Got to keep that foot safe.
Valenzuela still looking for a
like
potential submission here.
Yeah.
Warning to not hold the jaula.
We want to see if he can secure the knee. Oh, he kind of looks like he kind of lost it. So right now, Calvo's in a good spot. You know, he can keep the pressure. You're never out of danger on the ground with a brown belt, but
another heel hook can locked in. Tommy Santana with multiple warnings about not grabbing the cage. All for Calvo. Calvo's just never been comfortable.
Yeah, right now he's starting to settle in, but his knee is in an awkward spot. But he's able to put his weight down. He's definitely advancing and getting in a better spot.
Calvo has knockout power, no doubt about it. 3 of his 5 victories, and a 4 overall, not going the distance. As you see the coaching from Tino Guilaran's team, Docoro. Heavy parries into the ribs by Calvo. Trying to clear the guard.
So Calvo's just kind of happy to stay in the half guard position, just on that top position. It's kind of favorable in MMA, even though in jiu-jitsu you'd want to advance to side control. Here you can just rain down punches and kind of ride out the round, getting points.
Armbar attempt here at the end of the second round. And it is etched on the face of Fernando Calvo, who, when he's fighting in Spain, gets by opponents with relative ease. He knew this was going to be a step up in class. He has learned it. Now it really all falls into this third round.
Absolutely, he's got to come out with something special in the third round. Like you said, he's been ending the rounds in a pretty vulnerable position in both the first and second round. Luckily, the bell saved him. We'll see if he can, like I said, bring out something special.
Busy corner work here for Calvo.
Calvo, última advertencia, no me agarre la jaula.
A warning there from Tommy Santana for Calvo. Last warning, he said, do not grab la jaula. Victor Valenzuela, the biggest strike of the fight in that second round, that big roundhouse kick. And we'll find out here shortly if it was part of a winning effort in round 2 after he won round 1. Chile versus Spain. What do you want to see from Calvo, Felicia? My guess is he's down across the board on the scores. He has to be aggressive, has to go for something to end this fight.
Yeah, he needs to just show something a little different in the striking game. Just something a little flashy, take a little risk. You know, you don't want to throw those in the beginning of the fight because, you know, high risk techniques aren't always smart to throw right away, but when you're in this position, it's the perfect time. You know, she's got nothing to lose, throwing something a little crazy.
And we're seeing the jabs to try and open things up, and he's getting more ground up against Valenzuela, forcing him back against La Jaula.
He seems fresh, honestly. It's kind of surprising after those big shots he ate that he looks so fresh.
A stoppage here from Tommy Santana. It's going to be a taping of that, of the glove. Yeah, something came loose.
Wardrobe malfunction.
There it is. Get the scissors out. valuable time here to kind of collect yourself for Calvo. I'm sure he wants to get going.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking in between rounds right before this one started that Valenzuela was maybe a little tired even, so another extra breather for him. Winning is hard. It takes a lot of effort,
It
you know?
is. Big spot here. Calvo eats a big kick.
Unfazed by it.
Cuidado con la copa, cuidado con la copa.
A little warning, maybe a little bit low.
Calvo's got tunnel vision right here. That's what he needs. You know, he needs to be focused in the moment, not discouraged. He looks like he's ready to win the fight.
Yeah, Calvo's going to have to finish it. He's down across the board. And this is if you were in the corner and you had open scoring, would you want to hear these scores, especially if you're down 2 rounds?
Yeah, you know, I think most fighters would probably want to know. There's a handful, I'm sure, that would prefer not to know and just, you know, let the fight happen. But
my favorite is when I'm watching fights is when it's 20 seconds left and the corner would say 30 seconds to go.
Or if there's there's a whole minute and they say only 30 seconds.
You got a little look over. I
Yeah.
have a mental clock going here. There's a nice little head movement by Calvo. It sets up the kick. This is better. Catches him again with that short right.
Switched his stance, hoping that he keeps his hands up.
Valenzuela's a brick house. Look at the muscle, not
Yeah.
only in the shoulders, but the legs, and those sting. Calvo returns the favor. And it's just like the
leg
belts
kicks.
are out.
Those leg kicks are adding up. He's been throwing them time after time here.
Big spot here.
Big knee up the middle.
Fernando Calvo, who was asked about how he got into MMA, his exact quote was, "It was my brother's fault. He brought me in." But I'm sure he's loving it, and he was warned about the low blow, and this time it occurs. I think it actually was Valenzuela who was warned about the low blow.
The first time,
Yeah, the first time.
Give and get.
Second stoppage of this 3rd round.
Tómese su tiempo.
Didn't really look square.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. I guess both guys kick. You're both open a little bit, so part of the game.
Moment here for Calvo to design one last thrust here. Says, I sacrifice for everything for this sport. I feel that it's what separates me. Can he unleash one of those haymakers, which is
No coaching.
been so frequent in his career? Has to do it here, or Valenzuela will get the upset victory. That kind of railed pretty high up in the back.
Tómese su tiempo.
So the fighters get 5 minutes for these kind of fouls, and you know, some fighters don't want to take up the time because they want to keep that momentum, and others, you know, you're given the time, so why not use it?
I would tend to think if he is in good shape or close enough to good shape, he wants to finish. He has some rhythm, and the finish line is close.
It is. We have 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes
less
left.
than 3 to go. And that's what Calvo, I mean, he has to be thinking, we're going to hear that bell come up. Tommy Santana doesn't let me go. I got to go.
Yeah.
And Valenzuela probably knows the same thing.
Same thing. Valenzuela will probably be able to, you know, backpedal a little bit, knowing the score, if he wanted to ride out the round, or he could make that decision to drive forward and make a statement to Combate to show that he, you know, wants to be higher up on the card, make a big statement, have a higher ranked opponent.
We talk to Campbell McLaren all the time, and he says, look, win or lose, if you see that fighting spirit, if you see that entertaining aspect to a fighter, they'll be back. So Calvo knows even if it doesn't turn the tables here, an entertaining finish, and it looks like Valenzuela is going to get close to the 5 minutes. A lot of pacing.
Yeah, you know, I'd like to see Calvo pacing a little more and keeping that movement.
Right,
He's kind of stationary right now, just kind of waiting. It's, you know, you're not allowed to get coached at this point, but you can still keep yourself going and warm. You know, it might be a good learning lesson.
Kick to the groin, mouth, warning will be administered. Quédese ahí.
Warning for the kick to the groin.
Vamos a terminar la pelea dura y limpia. Listo.
No coaching, but you can get it where you can. This is so huge for Valenzuela. He knows he has to finish the job here. 2 minutes and 18 to go.
So both guys are kind of fresh now after a little break.
Oh, didn't like that. Into the appendix almost.
They're in their rhythm right now. They're feeling it.
What a difference from the first round where they couldn't find the range. They're finding the range. Counter punch there for Valenzuela. Calvo over the top. Switches stances.
Quick switch punch.
Superman left hand there from Calvo. Returned by Valenzuela. Backs up Calvo. Single leg takedown is good.
Oh, diving for that
Heel
ankle.
hook. Honestly, the second time we've seen him try this.
Yeah. Diving as soon as he hit the ground, dive straight for the leg. Those leg attacks are vicious sometimes. Relentless.
We know Calvo's a striker, but he's been pretty good in the submission defense. Maybe a Kimura attempt.
Yeah, Calvo's got to get that hand in front of his,
He's bent it
torso.
back.
Oh my.
Awkwardly
This
bent
is
back,
just
Calvo in trouble.
Pure toughness there. Backed out, a great position for Calvo now, but he's only got a minute to work. See what he can do.
Intriguing fight, another takedown.
I'm curious as to why he took it to the ground in the last minute of the fight. You know, he hasn't shown that he's the better grappler yet, and I feel like he would have had more success on his feet. Still, he can rain down some damage and have some excitement here with these big elbows.
Maybe those have knockout power, peppering the ribs of Valenzuela. It's been a good fight. That shoulder barge.
He just wants to make sure Valenzuela goes home with, you know, some kind of blood on his face, right?
That was me. I did this to you.
A little bit of payback.
Valenzuela, a very surprising, masterful performance here. He's almost going to hit the tape. 30 seconds to go. For a fighter who started 5-0 in his career, lost 3 of his next 4, this would be sweet as candy, although Calvo not going quietly, and he's got the high ground. Big forearm. Calvo might win this round, Felicia. I don't know if it's going to get him to win the fight.
I agree. You know, it's enough to probably win the round. Of course, not the fight. Nice showing in the end there. Great show of heart.
Calvo puts his arm in the air. Certainly he finished better, but we know what happened in the first 2 rounds. We'll see if somehow he's able to turn the tide. Official decision coming up next. All the particulars are inside La Jaula. Will it be Chile? Will it be Spain? We're about to find out. We go inside to Lupe Contreras.
Después de 3 vueltas de mucha más acción, los jueces están de acuerdo con tarjetas idénticas de 29 a 28 after 3 rounds of much more action. The judges turn in identical scores of 29 to 28. All in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision. Los 3 a favor del vencedor por decisión unánime. Víctor Psycho Valenzuela.
He shortened his nickname Psicosis to Psycho. It works, it suits him, but that was very calm, cool, and collected, a professional effort.
He really showed his skill set in the feet, on the ground. He was just comfortable everywhere and said, bring it.
Love it. A guy that's going to seize the opportunity and move on from here. A victory in Combate Global worth its weight in gold. And Valenzuela victorious. As we take a look back at the fight, a little process of feeling each other out early on, which is part and parcel of the fight game. But Valenzuela always seemed to have his foot on the pedal.
Threw those leg kicks heavy and hard from the very first round, and then landed, kick to the head, knee to the face, over and over again. It was a sight.
And the first loss in 5 fights for Calvo. So this is a huge win for Valenzuela in many ways. It's under the Combate banner, and it's against a very decorated opponent.
No easy fights.
And that always feels good, right?
Absolutely. No better feeling.
Etched on his face, the big smile, a little blood on the teeth. It's perfect as we get ready for our next fight. Alex Coyote Gonzalez, Fabia El Potro Sintes fighting in the bantamweight division. That's next. We are here at Miami Biscayne Boulevard. And next up, Alex Coyote Gonzalez, Fabia El Potro Sintes, another Spanish fighter. Will he have better success than his countryman Fernando?
Alex Gonzalez.
Here with Felicia Spencer covering all the action. My name is Max Bretos. That's the Copa Combate, which will be disputed later this year. This is Alex Gonzalez, big jiu-jitsu practitioner. Also studied law. I mean, does that help? Does that help in the fight game?
I mean, the mental game is half the battle, right? If you can outsmart your opponent, that's it.
Says he reads about 3 books a month. I know that's got to help, depending on the book.
Yeah, you know, you gotta have the downtime. You can't train all day. You gotta sit down once in a while.
It's all about his jiu-jitsu prowess. Also a very good professional boxer, training in the MMA lab in Arizona, which has developed some good ones. Got to train with former UFC fighter Alex Cáceres, and now for his opponent, Lupe.
Su contrario, Fabia Sintes.
Fabia Sintes, who trains in Barcelona, but he is from Minorca, the Balearic Islands, you know, where people vacation in Spain. Some people go to Ibiza, some go to Mallorca. He loves Minorca because it's nice and quiet. He's very relaxing. Not going to be doing any relaxing inside the Hawa. We will see. His countrymen lose here, so maybe a little extra pressure. We talk about repping your country. You want to lift the spirits of the Spaniards.
Yeah, you know, you want to wonder how the back room feels if they're sharing that area. You know, keeping the energy up in the back room. Sometimes it's difficult when, you know, your countryman just lost or something like that.
It means a lot. Carries weight.
Yeah, you know, it's always interesting when fighters train together or have a sibling on the same card and then see what happens.
This is the head-to-head. Gonzalez 3 inches taller. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage, so some pretty significant edges there. This will be at the bantamweight 135-pound limit. Both fighters making weight. We're ready to go. This one has all the ingredients of a very
Continuamos
special
con mucha más
Go to
acción.
Lupe.
3 vueltas, división peso gallo. We continue with much more action. 3 rounds in the bantamweight division. Los jueces son, the judges are Ricardo Celis, James Lázaro y Eliseo Rodríguez. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, llegó el momento de un combate global. Presentando en la esquina azul, vestido del tricolor mexicano, verde, blanco y rojo, presenting the blue corner. Wearing the colors of Mexico, green, white, and red. Su peso oficial, 135 libras y media, his official weight, 135.5 pounds. Con un récord profesional de 4 victorias y 3 derrotas, with a pro record of 4 victories against 3 losses. Fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, y oriundo de la Ciudad de México, DF, Alex Coyote González. Su oponente en la esquina roja, vestido de amarillo. His opponent in the red corner, wearing yellow. Detuvo la báscula a un peso oficial de 135 libras y un cuarto. He did the scales at an official 135.25 pounds. En 4 combates, mantiene un récord de 2 victorias y 2 derrotas. In 4 pro bouts, he maintains a record of 2 victories against 2 losses. De Menorca, España, el potro menorquín, Fabia Sintes. El referee internacional, Raúl Porrata.
Wow, the referee internacional, Raúl Porrata. He's going to love that.
Obedezcan mis órdenes y protejan en todos momentos. Obey my commands and protect yourselves at all times. Toquen guantes, touch gloves, regresen a sus esquinas.
Alex Gonzalez, Fabia Sintes. Started as a soccer player. You play other sports before getting into MMA?
Listo.
Not
Acción.
really.
Just straight into fighting. Love
pretty
it.
much. Yeah, pretty much just martial arts forever.
She found her passion and she ran
I
into it.
stuck to it. Yeah, I started when I was 4 also.
Really?
I did try 1 year of track and 1 year of swimming, but it was never
like,
something.
nah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was just I kept busy. You know, I was training all the time.
4 is the magic number if you want to start in mixed martial arts. Felicia Spencer, former world champion.
Gonzalez
UFC
is
fighter.
a big bantamweight.
Yeah, 135 to be that
Yeah.
tall and certainly that long. And already you can see how the problems it's causing for Sintes is it's out of his reach. You see the soccer skills, high kick there from Sintes, 27-year-old. Describes his style as intense and aggressive.
They seem like they started the first 30 seconds really back and forth, and then now they're feeling each other out. So they let out some of that initial nervous energy maybe.
Gonzalez takes the center of the jaula. You can see Sintes, he doesn't want to get trapped, does not want to be squeezed into a corner.
Yeah, never a good feeling. Throwing high, these guys have long legs. They're both throwing high head kicks.
Oh, closing the range, Sintes.
Head hunting right away. Gonzalez is, pacing in, tracking his opponent, keeping that center. Like you said, Sintes is maybe feeling a little cornered by now. He's not able to get out from the cage there.
Again, he knows, does not want to be hemmed in there. Sintes, we always ask our fighters, because we try that symmetry between soccer and MMA, and they ask him who's your favorite team, and no one really answers. They ask Sintes, and he immediately goes, Atletico Madrid. It's a passion. He says about football, he gives himself a base of competitiveness on how to approach things here in MMA.
Now, this is what I wanted to see. This, to me, was one of the more intriguing ground matchups on the card. Both, I don't even know what their ranks are in jiu-jitsu, but I know, like we saw, Gonzalez is a combat jiu-jitsu champion, so he's able to integrate the jiu-jitsu with the striking, and Sintes has 6 submissions between his amateur and pro record, so like lots of just aggressive grappling from these guys.
A little shot and get out of dodge there for Sintes. Gonzalez, we've seen him here for Combate. September, he beat Christian Barraza, the Chilean, first round submission. May 2021, he lost to David Martinez in the bantamweight tournament. David Martinez, the best bantamweight in Combate at this moment. Bantamweight rankings should be coming out soon. Stay tuned. It is a loaded division here. Gonzalez looks very calm in his own skin here.
Just so patient, waiting for the right shot. Sintes seems like he's trying to get in really quickly with a big strike. I'm wondering if he's trying to close the distance to engage a body lock or something like that. He likes throwing that big looping punch and stepping forward to close the distance. Just like that again.
It's exhausting to see Sintes. So much movement to get maybe one kick. There's the good spinning back roundhouse. Responded by Gonzalez.
Another difference between the bantamweights and the welterweight, right?
Yeah.
Just all the movement that you see.
And the fitness, you've got to have cardio through the roof at 135 here. Changing some levels there, Sintes. Gonzalez just continues to prowl, cuts the corners on Sintes. A minute and change to go here in round 1.
Gonzalez is, like you said, just so comfortable. He's even keeping his hands a little too low for my comfort level, but I'm glad he's comfortable there.
Well, explosive move for Sintes. That's going to be where he's got to get an advantage. As we saw the comfortability of Gonzalez, Sintes, if he can kick it into a higher gear, may have something.
Yeah, controlling the pace of the fight can be a really big, push to your favor. If you can surprise your opponent or just control the pace.
Oh, he's got the heel. Gonzalez really good with his submission. You can see it on the face of Sintes.
Looks like,
it's not comfortable, but he's out.
Almost. Didn't have control of the knee or the hips yet, so Sintes was able to get out.
Single leg. We've seen a lot of heel hook attempts here this evening.
Yeah, I think it's in fashion.
It's in fashion, of course.
To go for the leg locks.
Which is not how we would describe your gardening.
No, not at all.
Reaching the end of the first round. It was a close one. The official scorecard on the other end.
Yeah, this is where I'm glad I'm not a judge.
Yeah, that was a close round. Reliving that first round. I mean, Gonzalez got the moves in, but Sintes was so active. It didn't really lead to much, but I would imagine it reflects well off the judges.
Yeah, it's tough to say. They both had a different approach to the round, so they both found success in their own areas. Sintes found it more, strikes landing when he was moving forward, whereas Gonzalez, I think, was able to kind of corner Sintes and then land the strikes once they were a little more stationary. So, two completely different approaches.
Afuera, por favor, vamos. Afuera.
Back here for round 2, Fabia Sintes, El Potro. Potro, which translates to Colt. He was asked about his nickname. He says, I grew up on a farm. There's a lot of horses around. So there it is. For Sintes, you wonder if he did the heavy lifting in the first round to find some things that would work, to see where Gonzalez would go, as the movement was non-stop. Combination, that one catches Gonzalez coming in. Gonzalez trying to catch him on the way in. Sintes out of his reach. Now he's got something.
And he found success, doing it over and over again. Big overhand to the takedown. But Gonzalez with the great reversal here.
Little alligator turn there to get out of it. There was a mini guillotine attempt in there by Gonzalez. Nothing mini here on a submission attempt, but that's for the announcer's vernacular.
Right back to the feet. Curious, Sintes, it seems like that's where he's finding success, coming in, shooting, getting the takedown. He's still getting, I think, the judges still see it favorably. I think even if you can't hold it there, I think sometimes they see it as a, you're pushing the action. So that's always a good thing to have.
I think the judges have to look at Sintes, have to be impressed by the work rate. Whether that's led to the striking, the takedowns, it remains to be seen, but it's there.
That's the second time tonight we've seen a kick off the fence.
It goes. The judges agreed. They give it to Sintes. The work paid off.
Here we go. Close though.
It was certainly close. Maybe the closest round we've seen this evening. Gonzalez has taken the center of the jaula exclusively. Sintes, again, we talked about it. He was the smaller bantamweight. You can see it visually. You see the difference. He left Menorca at 17 to pursue a football career. He said it didn't turn out well, returned to MMA, and no looking back. He's happy that decision was made. He's got the look of a good fighter. He's just got to find things that work here.
Yeah, I feel like he could do a little bit better with just pushing forward and maintaining his ground. Gonzalez is, to his credit, doing a great job of just that. So, give and take in the fight.
Sintes constantly evading punishment, a lot of side-to-side movement. He knows he's leery of the power that Gonzalez possesses. None of the fights for Coyote Gonzalez have gone the distance. 1 TKO, 3 submissions. Guy who we believe will be close to the rankings in the top 10. Speaking of Gonzalez, when they come out, if he wins here.
So Gonzalez, being the intellectual that he is with how much he reads and studies, I'm wondering how much he's just studying his opponent and every movement. It seems like Sintes is doing some similar things over and over again. The big looping punch, he kind of dips his head down. So, hopefully he'll switch that around a little bit and not get caught with a big, a big counter to that.
Big overhand right there. Sintes returns. Gonzalez, as we said, 3 books a month. I don't know if they're leather-bound books, but 3's a lot. I'm about 1 a month. What about you?
Oh, it's been a little while since I've had that kind of consistency with reading.
Once you get the consistency. I just read them on my airplane rides. Otherwise,
there you go. I gotta fly more.
You gotta fly more. It's a guarantee to get you to read more.
See, that's the thing. I started doing Sudoku on the plane, and then now I don't read on the plane anymore.
Sudoku works. That's good. It's all brain food.
Yeah, I have a degree in math education, so that's where I went to numbers, right?
Felicia Spencer has a degree in math education. Who knew? That'll come in handy. Math, the universal language.
Right.
Gonzalez with a little Dikembe Mutombo wave off.
That's universal language as well, yes. And it's a good mind game, when you're fighting. I've had opponents play that game, kind of try to get into your head, you know, wave the finger, and it's like you either are infuriated by the fact that they did that to you, or you just have to like take a deep breath and let it go.
Good advice.
So.
Good advice. This second round feeling very like a capoeira exhibition. Neither making a lot of contact, but these big looping kicks. Neither Brazilian, obviously, but all part of the makeup. 20 seconds to go, round 2. Spinning back fist, Sintes.
Lots of showmanship here.
A lot more go in round 1, a little bit more show in round 2. Although Sintes gets out of it, he is fast. Gonzalez, he's on the treadmill. Out of his reach, maybe he'll catch him in round 3, which is next. Haven't seen that before, with the legs pumping, but it was if to tell us all, stop running, come here and fight me.
Yeah, a little showmanship. What an exciting round, though. That was action-packed. They're both just going all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, we always think Combate, they're like, it's about knockouts, about submissions, but we've had 2 fights here that are going to go now into the 3rd round. But it wasn't for lack of effort. These guys are trying things.
Yeah, they're trying to get into each other's head, maybe. Especially Gonzalez. It seems like he's trying to play the mind game.
And for Gonzalez, if he somehow got this second round, another close round, second round will change everything. Back for round 3. We await the score of round 2. Round 1 went to Fabia Sintes.
Listo, listo, acción.
I love that Combate is so progressive with the open scoring. You know, it's not something you see in all the promotions, and I love it. I'm a huge fan of it.
That's great to hear. I've warmed up to it because at first you just don't know. But again, the corners are allowed to do whatever they want with it. It's up to their judgment whether how they use that information. Would you want it to be an open door with would you tell your corner, I want to know it all?
Yeah, I would want to know, you know, but I get why some, you know, in some cases they might not want to be open, but the corner should know, you know, and especially in a situation like this, where you want to know if you're, you know, if you're on top, or if you need a finish, or if you can just win the round, or, you know, what the case is. Well, it's motivating to one fighter or the other, so it can't lead to a boring fight, you know? One or the other is going to want it bad.
Unfortunately, the approach for Sintes, unfortunately for Alex Gonzalez, Sintes' approach is working with the judges. He takes round 2. The open scoring is a really interesting debate, and it's like there's these antiquated ways in MMA, and many of these things work. In many sports, you stick with them, and there are people will give you a long list of drawbacks with open scoring, how it could change the way fighters come out. Maybe the less they know, the better. But I'm with you, Felicia.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the counter argument to that is if one fighter is going to stall or not be exciting, the other one knows they're down. They want they want that more badly than ever, especially if they thought maybe they were on top, and you know, it's going to push at least one fighter to the victory. Or say they came out 1-1. Now they're both on fire, you know. So either way, wow, big spins. These guys are keeping up the pace here into the 3rd round.
But this is the argument that they would say. Sintes knows he wants the 2 rounds, so he can move and move, but he's not.
Exactly.
I don't know if he's decided he doesn't want to know, but he still is aggressive because I think the fighter mentality at the end of the day, from what I've seen, and you've been inside the cage and you know much better than I, is not to time waste.
Yeah, no.
Make the most of it.
No fighter really wants a decision. You know, that's not the goal. They're ready for the decision, but they want the finish. It looks nice on your record. You know, when you have, you know, finish, stoppage, submission. So that's motivation.
Sintes is dancing a little bit, but it's his prerogative. He probably feels like he won those first 2 rounds.
Yeah, Gonzalez looks aggressive. Maybe a little too aggressive. A little open.
Another heel hook, spins it around. Sintes in a little bit of trouble. In and out.
Gonzalez just needs to keep the control of the knee. It looks like Sintes is getting his knee free, though, so he might not have full control.
Keep working, keep cranking. This is exactly what Sintes wanted to avoid. The fact that Gonzalez is going to do this a second time tells you that it's something he's comfortable with, something that he's had success with.
Yeah, especially pulling it out in the third round when he knows he needs to finish. He's not just going to go for something he doesn't feel confident with. You know, and his knees are pinching above the knee, so Gonzalez has his knees wrapped around Sintes' leg high up. That's good control for a leg lock, but great job getting up.
Second time Sintes is out. Is there some issue putting pressure on the foot? No, he's okay. A little groggy from all of that, though.
Yeah, little jiggly legs.
Yeah, and Gonzalez senses it. And now Sintes just puts his brow down and wants to throw. Careful here. Surprised to hear the corner not saying get out of there. But he is, first time he's really been as immobile. Maybe the heel lock took something out of him.
Yeah, it's very, very possible. You know, it affects your knee. Even though you're attacking the heel, it's a knee submission, and it tears things in your knee without much. So he seems to be moving okay, but he does seem actually. Well,
no, and now
he looks like he is limping a little, feeling a little pressure on that.
Gonzalez is identifying that left leg too, and Sintes is trying to keep it out of harm's way.
Yeah, if I was in Gonzalez's corner, I would be telling him keep kicking that lead leg, and you know it's going to make Sintes be vulnerable to something else, because you don't usually get a TKO from the leg kick, but it'll open him up, and he needs that finish.
I think Sintes has got some damage. Maybe I think, as you pointed out, it affects the knee, and I think the knee is what's in play here. He's trying to keep that left leg out and not put a lot of pressure on it.
Just need a little more urgency from Gonzalez, knowing that he needs a finish in this round. He's only got 30 seconds left.
And this is on Gonzalez. He should have gone for it. There was a window. There's the corner. Go, Alex.
We've seen last-second knockouts before, so it's not over yet. There's only 10 seconds, but it's not over.
Oh, Sintes, duck and dodge.
Starting to see a little frustration, I think, from Gonzalez.
Well, Gonzalez did the work, got that heel hook. It did the damage. There was no doubt about it, but he wasn't able to follow through. We'll get the official decision, but it appears it's arriba España for Sintes. This is the action from our fight. Third round, there was an opportunity for Gonzalez. After the Sintes takedown, you can see Gonzalez try and work that leg, and he got it.
Yeah, didn't get the tap, but he got the damage.
You can see it right there on that knee. It starts to contort.
Yeah, and luckily I've never had an injury from someone trying to leg lock me. I usually am just quick to tap at the gym, but it doesn't take much. It really doesn't take a lot to do a lot of damage.
A different threshold when you're fighting competitively.
Después de 3 vueltas, el juez Rodríguez anotó 29-28 after 3 rounds. Judge Rodríguez scores at 29-28. Y los jueces Lázaro y Celis entregan tarjetas idénticas de 30-27. Judges Lázaro and Celis turn in identical scores of 30-27. All in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision, los tres a favor del vencedor por decisión unánime de España. El potro menorquín, Fabia Sintes. Entrando a la jaula, Alfredo Lopez. Martín Justiz.
Martín Justiz, third time we'll see him here in La Jaula with the Cuban flag over his shoulders. Obviously, knows this is a big spot for him. Started with judo. Judo certainly derives to get that to the ground. Studied for 6 to 8 years. Judo is huge on the island in Cuba. They've created so many world champions through the years, but many cases from a different perspective, Felicia, trying to make sure that he's well-rounded on the striking front.
Right. Some of the best MMA fighters have started with judo. You know, look back to
Ronda
Rousey, Kayla Harrison, all the great ones. It gives a great opportunity to develop your striking and not fear getting taken down, right? If you're comfortable on the ground, I think it really helps develop your striking because, you know, you don't care if you get taken down, you're fine. So you just keep going.
Featherweight division, 3-inch reach advantage for Justiz, 2-inch via the height.
Las reglas oficiales de la jaula, 3 vueltas de 5 minutos, 3 jueces utilizando el sistema de 10 puntos. Este duelo, división peso pluma, this bout in the featherweight division. Los jueces son, the judges are Dorian Mirasola, Ricardo Celis y James Lázaro. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, llegó el momento de un combate global. Presentando en la esquina azul, vestido de negro, presenting the blue corner, wearing black, su peso oficial, 144 libras y media, his official weight, 144.5 pounds. Con un récord profesional de 5 victorias y 2 derrotas, with a pro record of 5 victories against 2 losses. Representando a Torreón, Coahuila, México, Alfredo Chato Lopez. Su oponente en la esquina roja, his opponent in the red corner, wearing white with red and blue, vestido de blanco con rojo y azul. Detuvo la báscula a un peso oficial de 145 libras y media. He tipped the scales at an official 145.5 pounds. Entra por tercera vez a la jaula con una victoria y una derrota. He enters la jaula for the third time as a pro with 1 victory and 1 defeat. De sangre cubana and repping the MIA, Miami, Florida, Martín Justiz. El referee from the DR, Tommy Santana.
Tommy Santana gets the DR drop. We are global,
Saludos,
remember
caballeros.
that.
Ustedes son peleadores profesionales y espero que se conduzca como tal. Repasamos las reglas en camerino, espero una pelea dura pero limpia. Una pregunta azul, una pregunta roja, choca guantes si desea.
Alfredo Chato Lopez.
¡Listo! ¡Listo!
Martín Justiz. Mexico versus Cuba, although Justiz calls Miami home, as many Cubans do. Came from Cuba and went to high school in Miami, where he began his wrestling. Short left hand there by Chato Lopez. Overhand right.
Justiz is a tall, powerful-looking featherweight here.
Yeah.
See if he can use that strength to his advantage. Curious if, you know, being a strong judo practitioner is a pretty deadly combination.
I know, if you can get hold of someone on those judo tosses, you can dictate this fight. No signs of it early on. But again, 6 to 8 years he judged his judo career. There's that little short left. Stays on its feet for now. Oh, good right hand there by Justiz.
Yeah, Lopez is going to need to use lots and lots of footwork to come in and out, you know, pick his shots and then circle and get out of range, because he seems to have a shorter range, which isn't detrimental, but he needs to use his feet a lot.
Yeah, but he's getting his shots in. He's taking some to give some. That could be a dangerous proposition. Justiz may have got an eye poke. Fight on, says Tommy Santana. We're minute 15 into this, Felicia, and this doesn't feel like it's going 3 rounds. Both these guys are going for it.
It's heated. It feels like there's a lot of tension in the cage right now. You know, one thing I think about, Justiz is coming off of a loss, and, you know, he's motivated to get that back, you know, to right the wrong.
And this has been a night of heel hooks, and that loss was back in November of last year. It was a heel hook submission in the first round, so Justiz probably leery about going to the ground, even though he's probably well aware that Chato Lopez not going to excel in that. Oh, good left hand there by Lopez. That right eye is bothering Justiz. Oh, hip thrust there, it just throws the levels. There's the Sanda, straight kick coming in. Doubling up.
Such an explosive fighter. Even, it seems like there's a little bit of a size difference, but it doesn't seem like much of a power difference in the punches.
And he's finding his range. Justiz just not at that same pace right now. Great start here for Chato. Just 24 is the Mexican fighter. Father was a teacher in Kung Fu. Started at age 4, the magic number. Also has a yellow belt in Luta Libre, black belt in Kung Fu, and then the Sanda kickboxing. All stand up here for Chato Lopez.
And the thing about Luta Libre is, it's kind of like the basis for no-gi MMA. It's very related to jiu-jitsu, but jiu-jitsu, of course, Brazilian jiu-jitsu is with the gi on, so, now we call it no-gi without the gi on, but it's very similar in background.
It's kind of simple when someone goes, why do they call it no-gi? You go, no gi.
You're not wearing gi. No pajamas.
No pajamas. I would never say that. You can. Little stop there as Chato Lopez may have taken a finger, and not much sympathy from Justiz. He said he got a finger earlier on in this round. Oh, it was a headbutt, pardon me. That was very mild, but safety first. Overhead shot of La Jaula. Can Chato Lopez keep that pace?
Wow. Great
left hand. Again, he's finding that range.
He is, yeah. Well, Justiz is coming in with his hands just a little too open and leaving that center shot.
There's damage on the face of Justiz, and those hands are so fast.
I'd like to see the hands go a little higher by his chin for Justiz.
Does Justiz have to do a takedown here or something along those lines? Because he's just taking damage in the meantime.
Yeah, I feel like you either match it, beat him on the stand-up for the remaining minute, or, like you said, take him down, show something a little different. But it seems like it's been leaning Chato for the first 4 minutes.
Chato's the faster. Justiz, I think, with that kick just reminded himself, I'm the stronger here. I may not get as many, but mine will hurt more and maybe have the knockout power. Again, it's hard to fathom these two are in the same weight class. They look two different frames.
Yeah, well, one thing is, Justiz might be cutting a lot of weight, and then Lopez is coming in fresh because maybe he's not cutting hardly anything, and you feel differently when you're in the cage fight night.
Chato Lopez last fought in 2016 in an MMA fight. He's been active in kickboxing circles. 20 seconds to go in this first round. Left hand Justiz loosened up that guard of Chato Lopez. Very active for Lopez. May have had his nose out in front. Justiz lurking. Action-packed opening round here in this featherweight clash. And some stern words here from the Justiz corner. He fights for Freedom Fighters MMA, and there's Ray Fundora and Manolo Lopez. How did you see it there for Lopez?
I have Lopez taking that round. I think he did a great job with, landing big shots. Justiz threw big shots, landed a couple, but I think the more powerful shots were landed by Lopez throughout the round.
Some words there from the corner about not letting him in. Don't let him in. Lots of boxing, beautiful boxing, which is what we saw from Alfredo Chato Lopez from Chihuahua, Mexico. Originally from Torreon, Coahuila, which is far from the epicenters of MMA. Justiz was asking about the fingers. He talked about the headbutt, but he's going, I got hit in the fingers, and you can see his eyes watered up a bit. Corner said more boxing for Lopez. Let's see if he's listening to those directions. Lopez in the black.
I'm always partial to the kicking, though. I love the kicking. But listen to your corner. The one nice thing about throwing the kick sometimes is it draws your opponent to throw the kicks, and it seems like Lopez does a good job of, avoiding getting hit with them or catching and being able to capitalize on it. So maybe if he does throw less kicks this round, he'll be able to draw those kicks, sporadically still.
Uh-oh, that last one hurt Lopez as he threw two, and then Justiz happy to give him one. And Lopez got out of there for a moment. Uncomfortable, but now drops that on the knee of Justiz. Look at that kick coming across.
He's mixing up beautiful kicks. Axe kick. You don't see that a lot in MMA.
No, did not. It just came down sharp. That connects. Could be some problems. The eye still bothering him, or maybe another eye poke.
Seems like he's a little contentious in there about it, so.
Oh, low blow. We've seen it all. Eye pokes, headbutts, and now this. As you can see, the scorecard, the official scorecard, gave the first round to Chateau Lopez.
Justiz looked a little frustrated at this break, and especially after what I'm guessing it looked like he was gesturing that he felt like he got poked in the eye and didn't get his break.
It looks borderline. It's not clean. So
You hear Tommy Santana says it looks borderline not clean, and I would agree with them. The inside of the leg. We saw Victor Valenzuela the receiving end of a low blow, and he took almost the full 5 minutes. Chateau Lopez doesn't want to take it. I think he builds off momentum. He doesn't want to slow down for a minute. Such a fast fighter.
Accidental coin strike, mouth, warning. Listo, ya le dije. Tiempo.
See the development of the body of Justiz. Chateau Lopez doesn't have that. It's just striking. There's no weight room.
Yeah, I'm curious if Justiz will stay calm and composed, or kind of. It seems like he's getting frustrated, and we'll see. I wonder if that's going to show in his fighting style here in the second round.
So many sounds and foot stomps for Lopez to throw off Justiz. Grab his attention from one area and punish him with another. Peppering their combination plus. Lopez into the body, caught a left hand on the way out. And now big right hand from Justiz. Lopez in trouble, but he stands there and fights. Biggest punch of the fight.
That was clean. He ate it and just kept, like you said, they stood toe to toe and just started throwing.
I'm impressed for Lopez. He's got a chin on him. He took that punch and he wants more. Staying in the center of the hollow, although now looking a little groggy. Justiz feeding off of that. Lopez is hurt.
Yeah, he looks like he lost a little steam after that exchange.
Take down attempt and
Pushed
Justiz,
off.
he says nope.
Sometimes the frustration might come out in a good way.
That's clean. That's clean. That was a clean shot.
Another eye poke, at least Justiz was saying. Tommy Santana says it's clean.
That was all gloves.
I like that the ref is communicating that to the fighter.
Tommy Santana's a good one. All the referees here. Good left hand, Justiz. Spinning back fist, blocked.
Good defense.
Good short left.
Another clean shot.
Great clean shots. Lopez feels like he's cleared that pain threshold.
Still so active. Justiz is showing a lot more defense now. It seems like he's going to avoid, or has been avoiding, some of the bigger shots. Big shot again. Big right.
Barrett, big straight right hand. Lopez will stay there and throw.
Oh, man.
Sticks in the pocket. Another left hand there by Justiz. Second round has been explosive. I mean, Lopez just stays there. But he has faith in that chin.
He does, clearly.
How is the fitness? There has been so much activity.
Yeah, it almost doesn't matter sometimes how fit you are. When you get hit like that, it just will drain your energy. It seems like maybe he's trying to wait to catch something, counter, catch a kick, get him to the ground. Yeah, he's definitely lost a lot of steam here in the last half of this round.
A couple more warnings for Santana. There was another headbutt warning for Justiz. There was a low blow warning for Chateau Lopez. Is there power behind those punches? A little puffiness around the right eye of Lopez. 30 seconds to go in round 2. Very close round 2. Seems like it's leaning towards Justiz, who had that big power punch. These fighters are gonna have to dig deep here after an exhausting, more so for Lopez.
Yeah, I'm kind of still waiting to see that last exchange happen. Like at the last 30 seconds only, there's one more big exchange and it hasn't really happened yet. They're both waiting for the other to start.
We might have a grandstand third round, depending on the scoring of round 2. I think that bell is a sweet sound for Chato Lopez as he reaches to the top of La Jaula.
Yeah, he might be looking to hit the little reset button on the round 3, so that little break might be enough.
Heavy breathing out of the mouth. And round 2 provided a huge stemming of the tide by Justiz. And Lopez just leaves his head in there. The old adage, fight like a Mexican. Chato Lopez living it.
Yeah, all heart. Great technique too, but all heart.
Those are some heavy hands by Justiz, but Chato Lopez was able to maintain.
I think that might have been Lopez we heard screaming, letting it out.
It is etched on the faces of these two fighters what's happened in the first 2 rounds. Everything to fight for in round 3. Martin Justiz, decorated amateur, 4 wins in 5. This is the fighter says he trusts that right hand. We've seen more of the left, but maybe that right hand comes into view here.
Yeah, there was a few good rights that landed tough, but he's seeming pretty well rounded with the striking right now.
It's been all striking, all stand up, short left.
Combination by Lopez. See if he throws in some more of those kicks. Maybe he needs to go back to some of that. Oh,
he did. He listened to him, but it cost him. And Justiz explodes out of that. Good lead leg kick, and now an eye poke. Wasn't stopped by Tommy Santana. He called a timeout. You can't do that.
Call your own timeout. No, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. The ref didn't call it.
And Justiz smells blood in a figurative sense.
Yeah, that's something that they both can probably take from this is, keeping that mindset of just, look forward and fight until the ref stops it. You can't try to make your own calls during the fight. It messes with your own head. You get into your own head thinking that something should be one way. Why didn't the ref call it? And just fight.
Well, the corner's head punching. Stop. Oh boy. It's been a hot mess with stoppages.
Tiempo.
Look, he says he's got a 2 for 1 maybe. No point deductions here. A point deduction would be cataclysmic for Justiz. I haven't seen the scoring in that second round, but certainly Justiz had a shot at winning it.
Yeah, I would lean that way. It seems like it's even going into this round.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I was looking at the eyes. I saw a punch land. Sometimes it might feel like you're getting poked, but you actually just got punched really hard.
Second time, and remember, Tommy Santana said the first one wasn't clean. It hit the leg, but he's still got 5 minutes. He gets 5. Maybe this was more for the eye poke. He got the stoppage he wanted.
Listo. Seguro. Aquí.
Are you ready? Are you sure? Let's go.
Justiz, aquí. Manténgalo limpio.
Oh, that was right. The toes into the stomach. That is completely legal. Unlucky break there for Justiz. Chato Lopez and Trump product.
If I'm Justiz, I'm throwing that teep right to the gut again. It obviously affected Lopez pretty hardly.
It looks quite painful.
Yeah, I mean, you get kicked right below the belly button, still legal target area. That's a rough spot to get kicked.
Yeah, you might find a little soft spot, certainly for Lopez, who's not the physical specimen that Justiz is. And look how close these scores are. everything to fight for in the third round. Might be 19-19, that could be a typo. As no point deductions, not according to us. Wild punch there by Lopez. Explosive opening round. It slowed down Sintes, but still it's been this style of fight throughout. Lopez was finding range, he can't find it now.
Yeah, it's been really back and forth this round. It's the tough. Both of them have the opportunity to push forward in the judge's eyes.
Wow, back
Monkey
and forth.
see, monkey do.
Yeah, right back at you.
Except this time it was Justiz drawing out a kick from Lopez.
I think Lopez was a little bit more on the money. Right hand comes down by Justiz. Lopez gets in that pocket again and pays for it.
Yeah, he's willing. He seems like he's willing to get hit a lot to get, to give the punches back. He's willing to do whatever it takes to get that W.
Give some to take some.
Cuidado, cuidado, cuidado. Bien.
It seemed like Justiz was almost gesturing that he got hit low with a kind of an awkward moment again. Back and forth fouls with these guys.
Vamos a terminar limpio.
Accusations of fouls anyway.
Chato Lopez looking for that victory, the elusive victory. Been out of MMA circles since 2016. Said he started fighting when his dad said, "Do you want to fight?" He said, "Yes, I do." Very direct. He gives his father all the credit for his combat career. Dad got him started at a very tender age. 3-month cap for Lopez. Felt very emotional with adrenaline. Says he suffered during the camp. Can he finish it though? Puffiness around the right eye of Justiz. This could be a critical final minute, Felicia.
It really is for me. Neither one has really pushed forward in this last round, and Justiz looks like he's landing those stiff jabs better this round than any other round. That could be the key. Just keep, if he keeps doing it, he just hasn't done it as much as I'd like him to.
Both corners are completely engaged. It is loud inside our studios there at Univision. Misses that punch. Chato Lopez able to hit the back. 30 seconds to go. The Justiz corner like that. He came in, he got out.
Just last chance to make an impression with the judges. See what they got.
Justiz says he's a fanatic of striking.
That could be a big moment. He just briefly caught a kick and Lopez sat down. So, it's something for the judges to go off.
Yeah, give him everything and more to break down in what is going to be a very close decision based on all accounts. We'll get that decision when we return. Martin Justiz with the Cuban flag on the right. Alfredo Chato Lopez repping Mexico. Now the official decision, and we know it's going to be tight like a tiger to Lupe Contreras.
Los jueces Lázaro y Mirasola entregan tarjetas idénticas de 29-28. Judges Lázaro and Mirasola turn in scores of 29-28. Y el juez Celis anotó 29-27. Judge Celis scores at 29-27. All in favor of the winner. By way of unanimous decision, los tres a favor del vencedor. Por decisión unánime. Martin Justiz.
Wow. How about that? It wasn't a split decision. My apologies. It was unanimous as he wins the third round. He did win at 29-27 according to one scorecard. Big screen for Martin Justiz, who started slow, finished strong. He is your winner. La Jaula, some great moments here. Everything's going the distance, but action-packed fights throughout, and we still have the co-main and main event coming your way. All over the world, down in Mexico with Televisa, and our Spanish-speaking audience in the United States with TUDN. All everyone joining us here on Paramount Plus We know we're out in Ukraine, Eurosport. Max Bretos and Felicia Spencer here bringing you all the action. This was our last fight. Martin Justiz finishing by getting the second and third round to defeat Alfredo Chato Lopez.
I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised that went the distance after the first round.
That's what we said at the beginning. It's a no chance.
I didn't think that was going the distance at all. It was fun to watch, though.
All stand up, which is a bit of a surprise because of the prowess of Chato Lopez, but I think Justiz said I'm comfortable in this sphere, and I'll get mine. His power doesn't affect me.
Just over and over again, just heavy hits. Big right, big left.
Tried some crazy stuff with Chato Lopez.
I really like that. Right after I said I'd love to see more kicks. There was the switch kick.
Would love to see him again. We'll see. I mean, fighters always get rewarded for effort, and Chato Lopez put it all out there. Certainly here at Combate Global, more than anyone. Another international event coming your way in our co-main event, our featured women's bout, as it will be Jennifer Trioreau of Marseille, France, Gillian Noll of Post Falls, Idaho. There is
Soy Leonardo Rodríguez, mi edad es de 36 años y soy originario de la Ciudad de México. Mi estilo de pelea es un estilo híbrido, me gusta pelear en todas las áreas, no te puedo decir, solamente me gusta hacer striking o solamente piso, entonces considero que tengo un estilo híbrido. Mi última pelea en combate fue en un evento que fue en Guadalajara y con la estrategia que hicimos pudimos salir victoriosos sin tantos golpes en mi contra. Pues bueno, originalmente la pelea de Marcus Edwards era contra otro rival. Desafortunadamente el rival dio positivo en la prueba de COVID. A veces las oportunidades salen de esta forma y por eso siempre hay que estar preparado. Y pues aquí estamos para dar una guerra. En realidad no sé mucho, no sé ni en dónde entrene, ni si sea de aquí de Florida. Solamente sé que le gusta la pelea de pie, que tiene una mano pesada, unas patadas pesadas y que le gusta ser muy agresivo. Pero pues también acá nosotros lo somos y pues va a haber un choque de trenes. Nunca me gusta asegurar que voy a ganar una pelea, pero lo que sí te puedo decir es que voy a dejar el alma ahí, lo mejor de mí. Así es como visualizo la pelea, que va a ser una guerra. El mensaje que le quiero dar a Marcus Edwards es pues que demos una gran batalla, que no salgamos lastimados de importancia ninguno de los dos y pues a dar un bonito espectáculo para toda la gente.
Coming up next in the flyweight division, it's Jennifer Trioreau taking on Gillian Noll. Big spot for both these fighters in the ever-growing, ever-developing Combate Global women's ranks. Seen some stars rise. Where do these two go? Looking to grab that ring here tonight for our worldwide audience. We're coming up next. Jennifer Trioreau, fantastic kickboxer in France, but now in mixed martial arts. She needs to prove that she has developed a game that could get her victories here. Gillian Noll is her opponent, but let's get to meet Jennifer Trioreau.
J'ai rencontré Emargui, un combattant français, et j'ai commencé à aller m'entraîner avec lui dans son club. À l'époque, je faisais que du kickboxing et j'ai voulu commencer le MMA et c'est comme ça que c'est parti il y a 5 ans. Mon style de combat, je suis assez agressive, j'aime bien avancer et je suis un striker. Alors, qu'est-ce qui me différencie de mes adversaires? Je pense qu'il y a un vrai contraste de la personne que je suis dans une cage et de la personne que je suis dans la vie. Dans la vie, je suis très souriante, très féminine et dans une cage, je suis une bête. Je Je pense que mon adversaire, elle va m'atteindre debout. Elle pense que je vais faire que de la boxe, mais j'ai des armes secrètes. Ça va être le combat le plus dur de ta vie.
Jennifer Trioreau, as they develop the French style. Changing the hair too before the fight, you gotta like that. And French MMA was illegal in that country until recently. So it's still embryonic, it's still developing, it's becoming bigger. One thing we know about the French, they like to fight. It's got it directed here in MMA, maybe she's a trailblazer.
Absolutely. It's like I said, so fresh over there. They had kickboxing, they had all the elements of it, but putting it all together, that's something a little bit fresh.
It's gonna happen for French MMA. We don't know when and where, but it will. So many of these countries in Europe starting to really dip their toe in it. We see what Spain has been able to do in a short amount of time. French will certainly do it. Her opponent, Gillian Noll, out of Idaho, back in the jaula, looking to get her arm raised.
I grew up fighting with my brothers, but my brothers, they're like 6'3", 6'4", and so definitely a hard opponent. I would describe my fighting style as very mixed, but like definitely love wrestling in the ground is where I mostly thrive. What I think makes me different from my opponents is very much my personality.
Gillian, no!
I'm a warrior to the T, but I'm very happy-go-lucky, and I just care about everything I do. I'm a fighter. That is what I was born to do, that's who I am. Anything I do, I fight for, so why not actually fight? I think I will win this fight because I am who I am. I work hard, I am dedicated, and I train for this fight. I'm ready for the win. My opponent can expect from me a nice smile and a good punch in her face.
Gillian Noll, Valkyrie, back in the jaula since April. Any brothers, older brothers?
Two older brothers.
Were they 6'3" and 6'4"?
Not quite.
Okay.
Not quite. No, I have some cousins that are much bigger, 6'7", 6'4", and 6'7".
Is that part of how you started fighting?
No, that was they're younger. But I did start doing Taekwondo because my oldest brother started. So.
I will say my younger brother, I broke my nose once and it was him. I just want to tell a national audience it was a cheap shot, and you can bring it up with my brother Fernando. I know he's not watching because he watches it sometimes, but I know he can't watch that. I just wanted to get that out of the air. It's a family affair for Gillian.
It is, and you know, she seems to just genuinely love what she's doing. Look at the smile. She's just been all smiles the whole walkout.
Tremendous. We'll see if she'll be smiling at the end of all of this. She says, I want to be caring and happy. She's always smiling. Those were her words as we look at the head-to-head. Just 24 is Noll. 5 years the younger of Trioreau, 2 inches taller. She's got a nice 4-inch reach advantage that's come in big in previous fights. Let's see if it comes in big again. We're in the flyweight division. Lupe Contreras.
Continuamos con el duelo semiestelar de esta noche. We continue with our co-main event of the evening. 3 rounds in the flyweight division. 3 vueltas, división peso mosca. Los jueces, the judges, Eliseo Rodríguez, Dorian Mirasola y Ricardo Celis. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, llegó el momento de un combate global. Presentando en la esquina azul, vestida de blanco, presenting the blue corner, wearing white. Su peso oficial, 125 libras y un cuarto. Her official weight, 125 and 1/4 pounds. Esta noche, entra en busca de su primer victoria profesional con récord de 3 derrotas. Tonight, she enters La Jaula in search of her first pro victory with a record of 3 losses. De Marseille, France, Jennifer Bulldozer Trioreau. Su oponente en la esquina roja, vestida de rojo. Her opponent in the red corner, wearing red. Su peso oficial, 124 libras y media. Her official weight, 124 and 1/2 pounds. Con un récord profesional de 1 victoria y 2 derrotas. With a professional record of 1 victory against 2 losses. De Spokane, Washington, Gillian Valkyrie Noll. el referee internacional, Raúl Porrata.
International referee Raúl Porrata, the third inside the jaula.
Protect yourselves at all times. Pueden camisones y protegen en todos momentos. Touch gloves if you wish. Back to your corners.
Gillian Noll in red. Second fight for Combate. Jennifer Trioreau in the white. When you see her spar, when you see her fight, it is breathtaking. She can do it, although she gets dropped right away for Noll. Noll looks to follow up.
I don't know if that was from getting hit or tripping or what happened there.
Yeah, but she's still rocked because she's not getting out of harm's way.
Yeah. She's got kind of like a point kickboxing style, so it's good for the judges in certain ways because very in and out, you make a lot of contact even if you're not doing too much damage. So I'm curious how she's going to adapt the style. Looks like they're both, swinging for it pretty well though.
Jennifer Trioreau said MMA can change in an instant. We just saw it there. Also talks about the contrast between the fighter and the person, how different she is on a regular basis and how she can flick that switch when she's inside the cage.
And look how comfortable Noll is, just staying on her feet and just landing those punches. She's finding the shot, so she might wait to do the shooting and the taking down for a little bit and just have a little fun on the feet.
In April, not that long ago, fought Tina Pettigrew, went to the decision. She lost, it was unanimous. Pettigrew, a very decorated fighter. And Noll certainly had her moments there, but now she looks to get that first elusive victory in Combate. Good left hand. There is some puffiness already under that right eye of Trioreau. But Noll looks like a really strong boxer here, taking control of the jaula. We talked about weight classes, and we said in our pre-fight show, Noll came down from 135, feels really good at 125. Trioreau was fighting at strawweight 115, now coming up to 125.
Yeah, it's always interesting when that happens, when they meet in the middle there. But, at the same time, Jennifer, she may have bulked up and gotten stronger and also have that less of a weight cut. Always nice to have in your back pocket. And Noll, maybe she was fighting above her weight class. She fought people who were featherweights. Now, I know she fought Jessica Borga, local fighter near me. She beat her as a featherweight.
She does to feel like she's the bigger fighter. Although Trioreau is evening the keel here with some good striking. Catching Noll coming in. Halfway through this opening round. Combination from Noll. Second combination gets through. Constant pressure. Oh, nice straight right.
Great job mixing it up. She's going one straight and then one overhand, one kick. She's starting a lot with her jab, but mixing up the parts that follow. So great job.
Jennifer Trioreau last fought in November, lost by TKO. Again, 30 kickboxing fights in her career. Started boxing in 06, started MMA in 2019. Continues to move away from the power of Noll, keeps moving to her left. But Noll adjusts, centers her opponent. Some good power punches.
Yeah, she's doing it over and over again. It's kind of the same thing going on a rinse and repeat. But if it's working, keep doing it.
And you can see that big grin from behind the mouthpiece. Again, described herself as happy, caring. From Spokane, Washington, also the hometown of our champ, Juliana Peña, who had one of her Ultimate Fighter competitors earlier on the card here. Now some blood on Noll's face. It was from Trioreau, who has been able to get through on a couple occasions.
So at this point in the round, I think it would be a really good decision to shoot for Noll. To push to the cage, take down, show something a little different. And at this point, the rhythm has been standing the whole time, so it would be probably a big surprise in the last little stretch of the first round.
Trioreau looking good in counter punching, although she has a big wince of her eye. Good overhand right there by Noll. Keeps the pressure going. 25 seconds to go in this first round. Noll, the aggressor. Now some blood over the left eye of Trioreau. Maybe a big finish.
She smells it. She smells that blood.
Looking to end this fight here with a few seconds remaining in the first round. Both fighters bloodied and bruised. Wow. You talk about, I mean, these fighters look like a mess after that first round.
What a finish to that round, too. I mean, they were already a little bloody mess, and they finished with a big flurry.
Wow. And Noll was aggressive, but took so much punishment on the way in. But that cut on that left eye of Trioreau could be a problem. It's right underneath her eyelid.
Jen, you're beating her punches.
Yes, sir.
Keep beating her punches. You can't see to the left side. You got to keep cutting her.
Sounds like the corner of Noll recognizes the eye problem might be a visual impairment and telling her to keep throwing toward that eye. Not bad advice.
Look at the damage that was done in one round.
Okay, let's do the work.
See what it means for these ladies.
Let's go, Gillian. You're breathing, Gillian. You got the target.
Time out! Doctor's time! Neutral corner. Stay there.
Getting ready for the second round, and Felicia Trioreau still getting attention on that left eye. There's some blood in the eyeball. It's just Gillian Noll in her happy world.
Happy as can be.
And they're gonna do a vision test. Says it's okay. I don't know. It looks pretty bad. And you can hear the referee saying, "We'll keep an eye on it." And what do you think Noll's gonna do now?
It'd go after that eye.
Go after that eye.
I would go after the eye.
I'm in. Ready.
She can barely keep that left eye open. It just something got through, and there's a cut right underneath her left eye.
She should definitely keep that left hand up, probably a little higher than usual. Keep the damage away from that left eye, because like you said, that could stop the fight. She doesn't have to give up. The ref could just call it. Well, the doctor would call it.
The left eye closes again. Amazingly, Trioreau's been able to damage Gillian Noll, whose face has been messed up a fair bit too. So maybe she'll get lifted by that, but she's gonna have to get through the vision issues. And Noll just keeps firing.
Yeah, I feel like she's doing a great job keeping that momentum from the last 10 seconds of the previous round. Starting off with fireworks.
And the blood starts to drip from that cut under the left eye. Noll gets the judge's nod on all three. Noll looks good at this weight class. Bigger, stronger.
She's keeping up the pace. Cardio's good. It's all there.
It's looking disfigured now for Trioreau, who dubs a social media influencer. She may not be doing a lot of influencing. Look at the way she does right now as Noll continues to provide a ton of punishment. Everything's connecting.
Yeah, she's just throwing over, like I said, same things working over and over again. You don't really need to make adjustments when it's all working and landing.
Now she's covering up. She doesn't want to get hit anymore.
Yeah.
This may not have many legs left.
This is the beginning of the end.
No, everything getting through. Raul Porata stops it. Gillian Noll with a huge scream. I love this sport, especially when you win. Couldn't take anymore. When those arms came over to cover the face, you knew the end was near.
Tough spot to be in.
Oh, that's a very tender moment between Trioreau and her trainers. Trains with MFC in Marseille, which is also the gym that gave us Maxime Jacquelin, who fought in a tournament last year. French kickboxing team in 2018 and 19 was third in the European Championships. A great kickboxer. It just hasn't clicked with MMA. But it's all about Gillian Noll. Bounces back with a big win. Well, we had to wait for it. We got our first finish of the night, and it is Gillian Noll providing it. Can't stop smiling.
It's
I
not
can
for
relate.
everyone, that kind of temperament, but it works for her as she is going to hear her name and her arm raised here as we go to Lopez.
Una serie de golpes sin respuesta obliga al referee Raúl Porrata a parar la contienda con un tiempo oficial de 1 minuto 44 segundos del segundo episodio. A series of unanswered blows obligates referee Raúl Porrata to stop this contest with an official time of 1 minute 44 seconds of round number 2. Your winner, by way of TKO, la ganadora por nocaut técnico, Gillian Valkyrie Noll.
Gillian Noll. And my apologies if I called her Noel. I apologize. It's Gillian Noll. As that 2 looks good.
She's just so jolly, you know, like Christmas.
It's
Noel.
great.
Yeah.
I was getting
It's
carried
French.
away.
It's French, okay?
No, okay, she fought the French fighter. Good temperament, though.
Yeah.
Put it that way. So we approve, and we look forward to seeing Gillian later in 2022. Main event coming your way next. Back in the house, 1 fight to go. Before we get to that, we look back at what we saw in the co-main event. Gillian Noll gonna enjoy the evening, sleep well tonight. Friends and family, I'm sure, are thrilled with her up in the Pacific Northwest. It was all this, Felicia.
That's the story. The 1-2, 1-2 straight, 1-2 overhand. It's rinse and repeat for Gillian Noll.
All Route 1, that everything, good percentage of these all connecting.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a fair stoppage by the ref. You know, Trioreau was trying to, you know, she was defending with her hands up, but not really actually stopping any of the punches from going through. So.
Great sportsmanship.
She said at the beginning it was the smile and then the punch, or was it the punch and then the smile?
It was the smile, then the punch.
So that's the order that we saw it in, followed by another smile.
Such good compact punching, and this one only goes into round 2, first stoppage of the evening. And everything upstairs for Noll. And we look forward to it. For all intents and purposes, it's going to be at 125. We are excited about this main event. It's the big boys at 170 pounds. Marcus Bad Intentions Edwards had to take a new opponent. Leo Rodriguez filling in on 3 days' notice. And we love him for it. Will it all pay off? Find out next.
Well, I started at a young age, wrestling, boxing, doing jiu-jitsu and judo, so it kind of just transitioned to MMA. Why do I fight? It's just like a part of me. It's just like my book's not finished being written. This is just me coming back and finishing my story and see where it leads to. You know, I was in a car accident when I was in 5th grade, damaged my brain. The doctors had told my mother that, you know, I wouldn't be able to read, write, and do all these certain things. Over time, things obviously became better. I had a company called Reach Beyond. We support people with developmental disabilities. We like to, you know, give these individuals a life that's worth living. I am a man on a mission, and my only thought is to annihilate whatever is in front of me, because that's what they're trying to do to me, and to, you know, put on a show.
Marcus Edwards is just a lovely man, and you can see what he's doing, helping people. His sister, who had a disability, to support her, and then in that process helping others. And he talked about that car accident he has had. And just listening to him talk, there is no issues with his mental capacity. He overcame that with his will, and now he's become a very decorated fighter. We've talked about him fighting some big names. Now he looks to be at the top at 170 here in Combate.
Chance to make a big statement for Combate in the main event.
Marcus Edwards, what about his opponent? Leon Rodriguez.
Pues desde que fui un niño, crecí en un barrio donde había mucha violencia, pues era pelear o pelear. Con el tiempo conocí las artes marciales, entrené un tiempo con mi padre también. Un amigo me llevó a entrenar al equipo Bone Breaker. Así fue como yo conocí este hermoso deporte y estoy haciendo lo que me gusta. Yo siento mucho orgullo por representar a México en Combate. Es una competencia de alto nivel, aquí ya están lo mejor de lo mejor también. A mí me interesa el representar a México y a Latinoamérica. Bueno, pues yo acepté la pelea contra Marcus Edwards. A veces las oportunidades salen de esta forma y por eso siempre hay que estar preparado. Y lo aceptamos, nos gustan los retos difíciles y duros y pues aquí estamos para dar una guerra.
As we were saying, Felicia, in our pre-fight show, you never know when an opportunity is going to arise. Sometimes it arises 3 days before a fight, and he just said it. When those come up, you got to be ready to accept them.
Absolutely. For some fighters, not having that camp, that whole 8 weeks to think about it and kind of dwell on the fight is really good for them. They just show up and fight. That's what we love to do anyway, you know, not have to stress about the adversities in camp and what if, what that, you know. So he might be one of those fighters that really would just thrive in this position.
We've seen it before, and then you come in with a fresh sense. And you saw, we heard from Marcus Edwards, didn't put much emphasis into his original opponent, and then it's paid off here because you all start fresh. We don't know what to expect. Could be a really enthralling fight for that very reason, as it's main event time here as we go face to face. Both guys have been around. They've fought many opponents. Pretty significant height advantage for Rodriguez, although Edwards has all of the reach. We are at 170. Remember, Rodriguez coming up from a lower weight class, but he did put on the bulk ahead of this fight. Let's go to Lupe.
Este es el duelo estelar de esta noche. This is the main event. 3 rounds in the welterweight division. 3 vueltas. División peso welter. Los jueces son, the judges are James Lázaro, Eliseo Rodríguez y Dorian Mirasola. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, llegó el momento de un combate global. Presentando la esquina azul, vestido de rojo, presenting the blue corner, wearing red, su peso oficial, 170 libras y media, his official weight, 170.5 pounds. En su 20º combate a nivel profesional, con 13 victorias y 6 derrotas, he enters la jaula for the 20th time as a professional, with 13 victories against 6 losses. De Littleton, Colorado, Marcus Bad Intentions Edwards. Su contrario en la esquina roja, vestido de negro, his opponent in the red corner, wearing black. Su peso oficial, 168 libras y un cuarto, his official weight, 168.25 pounds. En 15 combates a nivel profesional, mantiene un récord de 13 victorias y 2 derrotas. En 15 pro bouts, he maintains a record of 13 victories against 2 losses. De la capital azteca, la Ciudad de México, DF, Leonardo Lion Rodriguez. El referee from the DR, Tommy Santana.
Tommy Santana from the DR. Ready now for the main event. Leo Rodriguez, Bad Intentions. Marcus Edwards.
So does this leave the first round for you?
This is gonna be a tough one.
It's a tough one.
Well, we're gonna see some heavy hitters. We don't get this too often, but 170 a priority. And you see Marcus Edwards, who told us he changes his stances a lot. Very unorthodox, switching back and forth, taking the center of the jaula. It's Edwards in the red. Something about coming up into a weight class where you take a fight, and Edwards dropped him, it's over! 20-second knockout!
Another first round finish. That's his 10th first round finish.
Wow! Did not break a sweat. First one connected, and that threw off Rodriguez. He didn't know which way it was coming. He's trying to break a sweat now. Marcus,
he's ready for his second opponent to walk in.
I did so much prep work to tell his story. He gave us no time. But he's in a look. This is a guy who has dealt some bad cards in his life with the car accident, with family matters. He has picked himself up. He took fighting off for 4 years as he had a daughter, and he wanted to focus on bringing her up, and it was all worth it. He's back and back with some bad intentions.
That's how he got the nickname, huh?
Do you want to get in the jaula with that man?
All credit to the Lion. You know, stepping up like that, it is a different world from 155 to 170. It's a big jump.
The Lion was going to get a big fight for Combate sometime. He had huge aspirations, a huge background, but not good enough on this evening. We'll put a bow on an incredible main event. Looking back at our main event, Marcus Edwards, who took a fight in November. It was his first fight in 4 years. It was taken on short notice. He lost that after he came back from that 4-year spell to raise his daughter. As he said to us, time that you'll never get back. I'm glad I took it. And now it's back on the rails after this comprehensive effort in 21 seconds.
And that 4 years off, you know, also means 4 years without taking damage. That can really extend someone's career. You know, taking a break isn't always the worst thing for that.
The description on Edwards is a very patient fighter. No patience here. And again, when he saw that first one connect, he knew he had it.
Yeah, I like this ref cam. You can see, oh no, I gotta get in there. It was sooner than expected.
Quick work, and it's good that he didn't do all that homework on Rodriguez or Marcos Lloreda, and maybe that fight against Lloreda comes up, because when we were doing the publicity for that fight, it was all about Lloreda. Edwards was kind of an I don't want to say an afterthought, but he was second billing. He was top billing here this evening in our main event.
Yeah, you can't make a bigger statement than that, really.
Yeah. Fought Justin Gaethje, he's fought Efrain Escudero, fought Pat Healy. So he's had some big opponents in his MMA career, and now he feels like it's moving in the direction he always wanted to. 14-6, bad intentions, Edwards.
Yeah, that's good. The movement is good.
La sesión de moda de hoy pues se siente divertido, algo diferente que pues nunca he hecho fotos para peleas, pero nunca así que se siente divertido. I'm fashion. Mi sentido de la moda está muy mal, la verdad, porque bueno, yo siempre estoy vestida de entrenamiento y por ejemplo tengo mi hermana que ella le encanta la moda y siempre me dice, pero ¿cómo puedes ir así? Tienes que arreglarte. Siempre que me ves como, ¿cómo puedes ir así, Claudia? Y me arregla el pelo, me maquilla y me compra ropa.
1, 2, 3, go. Wow.
El proceso de maquillarme fue bastante complicado, ¿no? Porque bueno, me pusieron como pegamento, con pintura, pasando un pincel en la cara. Lo que más tardaron fue en mi pelo porque tengo mucho y bien grande y me hicieron un peinado súper bonito, entonces bueno, es donde más tardaron con todo esto. Mi look característico creo que serían pues unas bambas, como decimos en España, unos jeans y una camiseta normal, no muy despampanante. En mi bolsa siempre llevo mi bucal, mis llaves de casa y mi celular.
Yeah, right, this is the best.
Beautiful.
Me veo un poco una mezcla de la Bella y la Bestia, pero creo que un poco más la Bestia que la Bella.
Bonus fight here on Combate Global. Joey Ruquet, who once fought for the title at 135 here for Combate, back here at it against Carlos Puente Jr. He's been a great campaigner for this company. Ruquet gets to show he still has it. It's a tough opponent in Puente Jr. Let's get ready for the introductions and go to Lupe Contreras.
Entrando a la jaula, Joey Ruquet.
El Cazador, the Hunter, beautiful Indian headdress, fighting out of Las Vegas. He's fought some of the big names in this division, including Gustavo Lopez, which was for the title, James Barnes, Alan Cantu, and a man who would become Bruno Canetti. He fought in the Copa Combate as well, and he represents Puerto Rico, a guy that you know.
I do, yeah. I've seen him on the mat. You know, we've interacted a little bit. He's serious black belt in jiu-jitsu. He also told me that he intentionally prolonged his amateur career just so he was sure about everything and then was able to jump right into pro.
It's refreshing to hear that. Now his opponent, Carlos Puente Jr., El Rey.
Su oponente, Carlos Puente Jr.
Also with the nickname Stay Up, which is what he's going to look to do and make sure his opponent doesn't. Some potential for this fight to go to the ground. He has been a campaigner with Combate Global, fighting a couple times in 2019. He had defeats to Edir Terry and then Pierre Daguzan, the French-Hawaiian. Important to get hyped up by your music. It helps. Get you in the great mindset.
Yeah, it's always interesting what a fighter picks. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of be calm, though. You know, maybe he likes the aura.
He feels his own soundtrack up here inside La Jaula. Get you ready for the head-to-head here. Joey Ruquet and Carlos Puente Jr. fighting in bantamweight, both making weight, both even on reach, just a slight height advantage for Puente Jr. Both good, experienced veterans, but as a matchup, spot on between these two as we get it out to Lupe Contreras.
Continuamos con mucha más acción. 3 vueltas, División Peso Gallo. We continue with much more action. 3 rounds in the bantamweight division. Los jueces son, the judges are Ricardo Celis, Lorenzo Toledo, and James Lázaro. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, llegó el momento de un combate global. Presentando la esquina azul, vestido del tricolor boricua, blanco, rojo y azul, introducing the blue corner. Wearing the colors of his homeland, white, red, and blue. His official weight, 135.5 pounds, su peso oficial, 135 libras y media. En su 12º combate a nivel profesional, con 7 victorias y 4 derrotas. He enters la jaula for the 12th time as a pro, with 7 victories against 4 losses. De cría boricua, and now fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Joey, el Cazador Ruquet. Su oponente en la esquina roja, vestido de negro con verde y rojo, introducing the red corner, wearing black with green and red. He weighed in at 134.5 pounds. Detuvo la báscula a un peso oficial de 134 libras y un cuarto, con un récord profesional de 6 victorias y 6 derrotas. He enters with a pro record of 6 victories against 6 losses, representando a México en fighting out of El Centro, California, Carlos El Rey Puente Jr. El referee, Marcos Pérez.
Marcos Perez, our official inside the jaula.
Okay, so you went through the rules, defend at all times. Let's keep a clean fight, okay? Those gloves that you want right now. Okay, go to the court.
Carlos Puente Jr. and Joey Ruquet, and we can tell you that Ruquet will be back inside the jaula on July the 1st. And we'll show you a big reason why he'll be back on the card as he takes the center of the jaula. Puerto Rico versus Mexico. Peppering there with the jab. Very compact, elegant stand-up here from Ruquet.
For sure, you know, especially being so decorated on the ground, you know, it's nice that his game is so well-rounded.
A guy that is really well regarded here with Combate. He's picked up some fights on short notice. He has carried the banner well and continue to do so as we head into the summer months. As you can see some of the fog machine setting off there behind the two fighters. Puente with some good combinations. Ruquet tucks out.
Yeah, both throwing punches and bunches.
Oh, good right hand, Ruquet. Puente ate that, and now he gets a big kick to the lead leg. Ruquet got caught, cradles in.
and feels comfortable enough to engage on the ground.
Into the guard of Puente Jr. as it slipped off. There was a submission attempt in there.
Yeah, it looks like he wants to make a statement. You know, if he can submit a black belt, you know, that's a big cap, you know, feather in your cap is what
Absolutely. So big spot here as they're Puente Jr. maybe looking to get that arm out of there, although
Joey's, this is just another day in the office for Joey.
He's not giving him anything. Takes the back.
See what he does with this.
Oh, he's in.
He's got the arm under the chin. It's tight.
Puente's fighting it, trying to get that arm off and get his chin out of there. But it's not working. A big squeeze, Rouquet. And the tap.
There's the tap.
Rouquet did take a shot on the right eye, but water under the bridge, victorious over Puente Jr. No nonsense, same look on his face, regardless.
Yep, all business for Joey.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu coming through and a nice moment to share with his opponent. Much respect between these two fighters. Explosive start for Puente Jr., but Rouquet kept his cool.
Yeah.
Took care of business.
Definitely signs of a really mature fighter in Joey Rouquet.
Absolutely, and again, we'll see him inside the Jaula on July the 1st. 9 appearances for Combate for Rouquet. Just goes to show how important he's been to Combate. Got that black belt in Jiu-Jitsu under Carlson Gracie. Brown belt in Judo as well. He's put a lot into the game, and a lot into his work to be able to be such an accomplished fighter. We got to see it there with the stand-up and then the ground game as well.
Yeah, I'm curious when he started, or what he started with in the world of MMA. There was the grappling. I'm guessing it was. The grappling.
You told me about his amateur career, and he liked to extend it. Any care to take a guess how many amateur fights he had?
I'd have to guess at least 15.
32.
32
amateur fights.
Wow. La esquina azul aplica un estrangulamiento mata-león, obligando a su rival a darse por vencido con un tiempo oficial de 1 minuto 59 segundos del primer asalto. The blue corner sinks in a rear naked choke, forcing his opponent to tap with an official time of 1 minute 59 seconds of the opening round. Your winner, by way of submission, el vencedor por sumisión, el cazador, Joey Rouquet.
Joey Rouquet had to know he was ready for his pro career. He certainly looks ready after that first round submission via rear naked choke against Carlos Puente Jr. And there's a smile. He cracks it for a moment.
It is.
It's well worth it. Incredible evening. As always, it goes without saying. I say it regardless. Great to be here with Felicia Spencer. Did you enjoy yourself?
It's been a pleasure. Yeah,
we covered a lot of ground.
Very exciting fights. You know, even when they go the distance, like this one, you know, back and forth, just throwing hands.
This was Martin Justiz, who had to come from behind. By all accounts, lost that first round to Alfredo Chato Lopez, but battled back.
Said he trusted his right hand, and it paid dividends there.
There was that big power punch, and a couple of them started to get through and made the difference. Peppering away from Justiz. Really needed this.
Yeah, big. I love that Lopez was throwing those kicks, throwing the axe kick, the switch kick. It wasn't quite enough, but it sure made for a good show.
And how excited he was. His eyes were closed, hoping to get the news. His corner was even happier than he was. Important win. It's such a fine line sometimes between winning and losing, but what a difference it makes. So we look forward to seeing Justiz in the not too distant future. Gillian Noll, she comes in smiling, laughing, enjoying life, but she tore right through Jennifer Trioreau, the fighter from Marseille, who had a really bad cut under her eye, which caused problems and vision issues, and it was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, once you see the swelling, it really does add up, and she probably couldn't even see half the punches getting thrown at her by the end of the fight there.
And this is an
Just-
all compact punching.
Yeah, just show of persistence from Gillian. Just throw, 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 throw. Don't stop, don't stop. You know, just relentless punches. And she didn't even braid her hair or anything. She just figured it was just another day at the gym. Just put your hair up in a bun and it's all
Put it up.
good. Didn't even get a messy bun.
I'm going clean. We don't want any messy buns here. That was in the co-main event, and Gillian Noll, who is just a breath of fresh air. We look forward to seeing her again here very soon. We're going to take a couple weeks off, recharge the batteries, as we say in Spanish, cambiar la pila. I would imagine. And that was the win. Parting thoughts here for Combate, a company where you get to show your national pride. We'd love to see you come out with a Canadian flag if you ever decided to come out of retirement. But what you were able to see this evening, what stood out?
Yeah, just a group of young, hungry fighters, even the ones with more experience, you know, still just having that drive and that showing that showmanship and just the grit. It's been definitely a heck of a night for Combate.
Marcus Edwards steals the fight of the night, even though it lasted 21 seconds. But how could you deny Gillian Noll, who gets the victory? So we'll see you in a couple weeks' time. Be patient. Lots of great Combate action coming your way. On behalf of our entire production team, headed by Art Izquierdo, our guy in the booth, Victor Baguet, Felicia Spencer, who knocked it out of the park. My name is Max Bretos. Until July the 1st, Placido Domingo!